Welcome to God's Wilderness University, a place where spiritual growth happens, not in the comfort of our homes but in the stretching, shaping and refining challenges of life. It's a place where the Lord teaches His students not through books or lectures, but through the experiences of life that seem difficult at first, but ultimately draw us closer to His heart and His purpose. Much like the Israelites wandered through the desert for 40 years, God's wilderness is not a place of punishment, it's a school of trust. It's a season where God strips away the distractions, the comforts, and the securities we rely on, teaching us to depend fully on Him. As the journey through the wilderness unfolds, we learn that God is our source, our provider, and our protector. His wilderness teaches us that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God, Matthew 4:4. In God's Wilderness University, you will experience times of thirst, hunger, and uncertainty. It's a place that exposes what we truly rely on. But it is here that you will discover that only God can satisfy your soul's deepest needs. Just as God provided water from the rock for the Israelites, He promises to sustain us in our most desperate moments. In the wilderness, we find that true fulfillment doesn't come from the things of this world, but from the living God who provides for us in ways we never imagined. God's wilderness isn't always easy, but it's essential. In the wilderness, we are shaped, we are tested. It's where we learn endurance, perseverance, and how to stand firm in faith. James chapter 1 verse 3 says, "The testing of your faith produces perseverance." The wilderness is a place where God refines us, purifies us, and prepares us for His greater purpose. It's here we learn that growth doesn't come without struggle. It's a place where we are forced to rely on God for everything. And through this, we discover just how strong we can be, not because of our own strength, but because of His power working in and through us. In the wilderness, it's easy to question God, it's easy to wonder why He allows the hardships. But the wilderness is a place of transformation, it's where God teaches us patience, trust, and obedience. We may not always understand why we're walking through the desert, but we can trust that God has a purpose for every step we take. Through our struggles, God is forming something beautiful within us. A deeper faith, a more resilient spirit, and a heart that is fully aligned with His will. At God's Wilderness University, there are no shortcuts. But there is a promised land on the other side, a place of spiritual abundance, maturity, and purpose. A place where we can confidently say, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing." Psalm 23 verse 1. It is through our wilderness journey that we learn to trust God completely, and to see His provision and faithfulness in ways we couldn't have imagined before. Through every season in God's wilderness, He is teaching us to rely on His timing, His provision, and His presence. The wilderness is not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter in our walk with God. It's a place where we shed the old and embrace the new, where we are strengthened, refined, and equipped for the next step in His calling. And when we graduate from the wilderness, we don't leave empty. We leave as testimonies of His faithfulness and as witnesses of His power to deliver us, transform us, and use us for His glory. God's Wilderness University is not just a season of life, it is a journey that refines us, strengthens us, and prepares us for all that God has ahead. So when you find yourself in the wilderness, remember it's not punishment, it's a process. Trust the teacher, embrace the journey, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. Trust the wilderness, trust the teacher.